it's not that you're complacent, but what can you do to appreciate what you have now and still want more?
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast Show. We're here to rock it again, right? So we've got the amazing Joel Salomon. He is really an amazing person. He's definitely, honestly, he's one of those true giver type of people. Like, he's just like, that's one of the reasons he's back. Like, there's a lot of people I need to get on shows and, whatever. He's truly a spiritual rock star. He is a true heart. He's a very humble person, even though he's very confident. He's accomplished a lot, and he's got a lot of expertise when it comes to, obviously, as you hear the bio, a lot of expertise when it comes to prospering, doing your purpose, and really allowing yourself to become truly wealthy. So, Joel, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much. It's truly a pleasure and an honor to be here, Daniel. Thanks so much for having me back.
Sure thing. Okay, well, let's go ahead and go through it. Now, Joel is a finance mindful money expert and prosperity coach who helps others overcome obstacles standing in the way of their financial freedom. He's an award-winning TEDx speaker, workshop facilitator, and frequent television and podcast guest. As a former manager of a 700 million portfolio, the creator of his own successful hedge fund, and the author of 3 best-selling books, he has learned that the true foundation of wealth is a mindset of gratitude, love, and service. And I can tell you that truly, he ain't lying. He ain't saying like, yeah, that's what I say, but I ain't what I do, because that's what I've experienced. I've had many interactions, with Joel. That's who he is. So, Joel, a lot of times it just seems like this whole thing of doing our purpose and prospering, like, it seems like it's complicated, right? Like, people that come in to like be a coach or healers. I serve healers primarily these days, light workers, whatever, but primarily healers, and they come in and like, well, I'm learning that messaging right now. Now I'm learning the back end. Now I'm learning social media. Now I'm learning website stuff. Now I'm learning this. And I always say, like, yes, fine. I think we should all learn about all these things as you're guided. But honestly, show up, help people, let them invest in themselves if they want to, in you helping them. And honestly, you can really get your business flourishing right away just by doing those simple things. But everybody just thinks it's all these formulas and you got to get them and all this kind of thing. And honestly, just showing up and with that, the energy of love and service, and of course gratitude, is so magnetic. It's so powerful, but I think it's underappreciated. Have you noticed that people are just making it too complicated too?
Yes, I completely agree with you, Daniel. And if you, so not a lot of people talk about this, but being what you want to have is the way in life. So before we got on, I mentioned that I'm a single dad, and I've been divorced a number of years, and I'm dating. And in order to find love, you have to be love. Be loving, and then you'll attract love. So if you want abundance, you want prosperity, be abundant, be prosperous, be of service. What do the most rich, prosperous, abundant people in the world do? They set up foundations. They give to charities. They give of their time. So act as if you already are abundant by being abundant. Go to, I'm not saying get into debt to do these things. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be abundant. But if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you're watching this and you're just starting out, or maybe you're early on in the entrepreneurial journey. I've been doing this for 8 years, and I was a hedge fund manager, had my own hedge fund for 4 years. So I've been an entrepreneur for 12 years.
Mhm.
And so I'm not just starting out, but if you are just starting out, think about ways you can act abundant, like your business is generating 250,000, 500,000 a year dollars.
Mhm.
So how would you act? Where would you go? What would you do? What would you be giving back? And maybe research that. Research the charities, or maybe I created my own charity 2 years ago, Salomon Charitable Giving, to teach financial literacy to kids. So I created that in anticipation of large amounts of money coming in, millions and millions of dollars, so I can travel around the world, not just the US, and help kids who are not getting the truth about money and prosperity and abundance so they can learn the truth about it. So if you are thinking differently, you're giving, you're acting in a, as you mentioned, gratitude. Another power, that's rule number 5 in the 9 Money Rules, my second book. Giving is number 6, rule number 6 in the 9 Money Rules. So gratitude, how can you, it's not that you're complacent, but what can you do to appreciate what you have now and still want more? Right? It's okay to strive for more, but what I highly recommend writing in a gratitude journal, what you're grateful for. And I start every morning and every night in my gratitude journal with, I'm grateful for my daughters, Lauren and Morgan, for teaching me unconditional love. And my company name, Salomon, is named after Lauren and Morgan. But it doesn't have to be the miracle of childbirth. It doesn't have to be that big. It could just be, I'm grateful I got up this morning. I'm grateful I'm breathing. I'm grateful there's sun. I'm grateful for being able to walk in nature, whatever it is, even the smallest things. And most important is writing down why you're grateful for that.
Yeah.
And so having established these kind of habits, gratitude, giving, acting as if, you will attract more abundance and prosperity in your life. And well, I really want to talk more about purpose today, because when you're on purpose, when you're doing your purpose, when you're thinking consciously about what you want, then you're driving more abundance and prosperity to you. And I think you alluded to it earlier. I'm sure a lot of people who are just starting out, or maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years into the entrepreneurial journey, are not generating millions of dollars yet. Yet is a great way to think about it. Don't say I'm not generating millions of dollars. I'm not generating millions of dollars yet. And they may be questioning. They may be doubting themselves. Well, I got into this, and yes, I have to do all these processes. I have to set up the website and set up the funnel and get these people. And that is secondary, as you mentioned, to being on purpose, to starting every day with, what is my one thing? Why am I doing this? Simon Sinek talks about your why, knowing your why. And we talk about that in my upcoming book, Your Path to Purpose and Prosperity, that I'm writing with Jackie Roberge. And so it's really important to start your day with, what is your one thing? My one thing is to help at least 100,000 people become financially free. And I get up every day, and that lights me up. That gets me here to reach out to you and say, I'm writing this book, I've written this book, and I want to help more people, right? Get out there into the world. So what, as a spiritual entrepreneur who's watching this, what can you do to focus on your why every single day, to be on purpose, to consciously say, is this thing I'm doing in line with my purpose? And if it's not, put it aside.
Okay.
Because
Or somebody have to back. Yeah, I have to back up the truck for a second, because it's like some people still may be in the question, but I don't know what my purpose is. So how do you help people with that?
Great question. So in the book, we have this whole series of exercises that you can go through, and there's different levels of purpose, right? There's you could say universal purpose of love and service, right? But then you have your life purpose and your personal maybe a personal purpose and your professional purpose. And in the book, we actually go through each of the different types of purpose and explaining why. For business, an example, there's really understanding what that purpose is, rather than the love and service, the universal purpose. And we have a series of questionnaires that you can take, and we'll get you aligned to, okay, getting more clarity at least on what it is.
Right.
And I'll just give a hint that we talk about in the book that's very important, and I believe it's very important in all aspects of life, is how are you feeling? Because feelings are a hint on everything. So are you way up here in like ecstasy, like just so grateful, like I'm doing what I love, it feels so right, I'm happy I could just do this for no pay. Like
Right.
I just like, I'm so, for me, like when I started my hedge fund and analyzed stocks, like I was like, people pay me to do this now? Fine. Like I was doing it like on my own, like in the evenings and weekends. And then when I got
Right.
the first job to actually analyze stocks at a hedge fund, I was like, oh my God, they're paying me to do what I love. And I've aligned my hobby and my career. So think about like what your hobbies are, because that can be a career. It can be your purpose.
That's
So
very
did that
interesting.
answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, that is a clue. It's probably one of your questions, right? So what are your hobbies, right? I mean,
Yeah.
oh no, I think that's really cool because even someone like me that's you got a website, your sacred purpose and all that, I think it's still constantly everything is still a question. We all none of if we're all honest with ourselves, none of us know anything. Ultimately, kind of, like we're constantly figuring stuff out. We're still deepening on our what's my purpose, what's my thing. Yeah, it's 100,000 of this. Okay, but I keep asking Joel more questions. He'd be like, let me think about that one. Yeah, but there's more and more to flesh out, right? Constantly, and so. The way I look at purpose to that word, ever since I heard this from a teacher, of course, like well, there's the inner purpose, sort of what you were saying, right? You got your inner purpose, which is to just be here now, and be awake and all that kind of stuff. And you got your outer purpose, the thing you're here to do in the world and all that thing. I think if we miss out on the first thing, which is, I mean, optimally it would be like to focus on your inner purpose, right? Well, what's my inner purpose? And then, because usually if you're really connected with your inner purpose, meaning be present, be awake, and allow yourself to then follow what you come to understand is your outer purpose, which gets, I think, simplified and easier, when you're in that state. Like you're not sitting around, I don't know what it is, you tend to be
Right.
more like, I don't know, I got a sense to do this, I got a sense to do that, right? And then that intuitive flow comes faster, and that's really important. And then I love what you said though with the hobbies. I really want to dig into that because uh is because I get in a real flow state, for example, when I play pool, for example. Like I am just like, okay, I could play for hours and never get bored. I could become never bored with playing pool. Like really, I could never get bored of it. I'd just be like, yeah, let's play again. I could be like in I think was it Twilight Zone, where Jackie Gleason's like, okay, I gotta do this forever. I beat everybody forever. I feel like I could almost be that type of person almost. But it's a lot. And so I think about that. I'm like, well, I don't think I'm meant to be a hustler for for a living or playing tournaments or whatever. I don't believe that's my purpose, right? So, but it is something that I value getting into a flow, right? Like I get in that flow sometimes when if I get it back into playing tennis or, doing other things that we love, we get into a flow and we love that, right? Whatever it is we're doing, we want to get in that flow because that is where the good things happen. So that's one of the
Right.
things we relate to with hobbies but I'd love to learn more about, I'm throwing a lot out there, but like how that helps us to kind of did because people are like, well, I like doing knitting. How's that got to do with my ultimate, right? So I'd love to break that down a little bit more too.
Yes, and so it is very important again to get into that flow. And what I say is it's feeling first, manifestation second. right? So how are you feeling when you play pool? Like for me, it's ping pong, table tennis, or tennis. And like you, I could just play all day, every day, all day,
Right.
and just be like, just so happy. But what is critical there is the feeling. So what is the emotion or feeling? So I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling joyful. I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm just in that state. And then when you're in that high vibration state, that frequency or vibration energy is the same frequency energy that creates abundance and prosperity. So you may be playing tennis or playing pool, and an idea flows through,
Right. Right. Right.
and you're in a state of that flow. And so ideas for a book or for your business or whatever comes through. And so what we talk about in your path to purpose and prosperity is, if you're doing your purpose, your work purpose, your life purpose, business wise, maybe you're doing knitting because you love that, and maybe you're selling it or maybe you're not. But if you're in that state where you're doing things that you really enjoy, then it may not be directly in your purpose, in your business, but abundance and prosperity is going to flow from other directions. You'll manifest, and we talk a lot about manifestation in the book as well, different ways to manifest, because if you're in that flow state, you're going to be manifesting. So consciously be aware of ways and techniques that you can put it out there, so that when you're happy, you're allowing more abundance and prosperity flow. If you're doing a job just to pay the bills, and you go into work, this 9 to 5, 8 to 6 job, and you're angry, upset, and growling, and you're vibrating down here in sadness, anger, depression, well, you can't generate the abundance and prosperity. You're not in flow. You're not vibrating at the frequency that allows for the flow, the abundance, the prosperity. So that's really important to know and understand. And we talk about that in the book as well. So it's important to, even if you're not doing your life purpose, maybe spend an hour. You have to pay the bills, and I understand that we talk about that as well. So, you got your 9 to 5, 8 to 6 job, but spend an hour a week or an hour a day if you can on what lights you up, because that's going to create the flow, and that will create the abundance and prosperity eventually.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today. Right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the most prosperous times I've had in business are when I am exactly in that state. I'm in such a connected state. I'm going to, I may, I don't know if I'd still feel the same way today if I was doing these things, but maybe I would. Who knows? But I'm going to yoga. Yoga became issues sometimes for me with the certain moves and stuff, and someone says, well, don't do those ones when you go to class. But that's not my nature. I'm competitive. So there's no way I'm just going to be like, yeah, I can't do it consistently. Like it's too hard for me. But my point is, like, when I've been doing like the things that are what I would call maybe self-care or whatever, like whatever you want to say, raise in vibration, everything. And that's what I teach too, is like focus first on your vibration. Second, look at what are the bottom line things you need to take care of. Yeah, you need to take care of business. So I always say it's both. I love your perspective on that. You have, yes, always about elevating the process, the higher vibes and being in the flow. But what I find sometimes what people do is they'll get in the flow and they'll just be like, I feel good. That's all that matters. I just kind of horse around with my business, see what happens. They ain't gonna produce the best results. You have to get down into the nitty gritty and the details as well and get done what you need to get done. So you combine all the elementals of your being, the fire, the steel on top of, the flow and the water, air kind of energy, right? So I love your perspective on that because that's what I've really noticed.
I was on a Mike Dooley Tut Wow tour last year in Tahiti, and his brother Andy Dooley was also teaching, and so they each teach for an hour. Well, one of them teaches for an hour each day over the 7-8 day cruise that we were on. And one day Andy ended his hour and he was like, oh, I really wanted to share with you this really powerful meditation. Anybody want to stick around? So I stuck around with maybe 10 other people. There was 59 of us on the tour. And he's like, well, you guys want to continue? Because we got kicked out of the auditorium because we had our time limit. And after he did the meditation, and we were doing some improv games. He's won some awards as the best comedian in Florida. And so we started playing these games right outside the auditorium, and we were just laughing. We were just having a fun time, just playing games, And then he stopped us about a half an hour in, and he said, this is the state you want to manifest from. This is the state. Now think about what you really want. What is your biggest desire? Right. Because we're laughing, we're having a good time, we're high vibing way up here, but now you need to be conscious. Yeah. Conscious, you're having a great time, but now let's be conscious and think about your desires and close your eyes and visualize the dream. That big dream that you have from this state of bliss and fun. That's where you want to manifest from.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, for me with the healer crowd, they're reluctant to take certain actions. So for me, I do have to employ them in certain actions they don't want to take, but they're absolutely fine to take once they start taking them. So it's like, you got to do it. You got to show up and do something. You got to show up and talk. You got to show up and invite somebody. You got to show up and do, so they could visualize all they want. They don't take the steps, it ain't happen, right? So yeah, totally those things. And then for particularly the people some of the type of people I work with in my programs, of course, there's people that work with me that have no problems taking action, but some of these up and coming healers that I work with, especially, like, man, just as much, you better start taking some action and get in front of people. So I think it's all important. It kind of depends on the person, right? There's people that have been burned out, like they've done the whatever, the corporate or whatever, they've done the stock market, whatever they've been doing, they burn themselves out, and then they're like, oh yeah, we need a high vibe, and I like that idea. I want to trust that, and I want to relax because I don't have any problems taking action, right? So like, there's always that
the balance.
Whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
I completely agree. And I didn't mean to intend that, okay, get into a high vibe, have some fun, dance, and then close your eyes and visualize, and everything you want in life is going to happen. As an infinite possibilities trainer, in step 5, it's taking action. And I will tell you, and I've quoted this, I may have said this when I was on the show last time, that I don't know any billionaires who just sit at home and meditate and visualize all day.
Right. It all just is happening. They're just sitting here in a high vibe all day.
No, they got into the world and they took action, but I will say they took inspired action. So they took the action. So they did the meditation, they did the visualization, and now they're feeling great, and now they're inspired to take the action. And I distinguish between when I was hedge fund manager and I lost money 7 days in a row, I'd started doing this. I'd be moving the portfolio around. I'd be like white knuckling it, see my knuckles, they're white. It's like, like working really, really hard. Right. And that kind of energy doesn't serve. Right. It can work. Moving matter to make matter does work over time. I've done it in my life for many years. Right. And it's much easier to take inspired action from a high vibration point of view, rather than, okay, I've lost money 7 days, or I got to make money today. And usually I lose money for another 3 days before I'm like, wait a second, you're good at this. You don't have to take massive action. Right. It's inspired action. It's feeling good. And then the money will flow. So I agree. It's a balance. If there are people who truly read The Secret and said, okay, I'm going to wait for the check in the mail, so I'm going to just meditate and visualize all day. And then there's the people like, from my former colleagues at the hedge funds, at the banks, at the insurance companies, who are doing this, and they're doing this, right?
Right.
But it's there, you can do a balance of both and
Right.
create even more
Right.
quicker.
Right. Yeah. And be satisfied, actually be truly abundant and fulfilled within, which is what, matters as much as anything else, of course, if not the thing that matters. Right. So, depending on how you want to look at it, but, so that's great. Yeah. The marriage of, the inner with, taking the actions. Then we also have the, with what we're talking about today, we started talking about it earlier with whatever your outer purpose is. And you said in the book, it helps at least start to get, I would say that too. Like, we're never done with any of this stuff. Like, we're going to get clarity on your purpose. We'll get clarity on your clients or whatever, but it's never done. It's not like we got it, it's done. Now we have to work on it ever again. It's not that type. These things aren't usually like that. So, but you start getting refined. Like for me, I'm similar. I'm like, I'm gonna have 100,000 people come through my energy scan training, right? So over the next 10 years. So I have no idea how I can do it, but I just know it ought to be in every healer's hands, like to be able to do that. It's like they can already, they just don't realize it. So it's one of those things. Like for me, I know it's my purpose because there is a sense of divine outrage, because there's so many reasons why they don't believe they can do it. Brainwashing, past life persecution, all this stuff. They were castigated because they're different, whatever. All these things, which are all things I've experienced, right? So like it has a personal connection for me too. And the idea, like, well, and then you can't really make money because as a healer, you're just supposed to be spiritual and just help people, and it's God's gifts and all this stuff. Is like, yeah, so are plumbers. They got God's gifts too. They get paid. I mean,
Right.
everybody can thrive. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's a really important point. A few points in there.
Yeah.
It was fun. I was meeting with a woman last week, and she's a human design specialist. And she was telling me she charges $50.
Mm,
And I said, that's your specialty. You have a gift. I can't do that. There's
right.
probably a few hundred, maybe a few thousand people on this earth who can do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And $50 is an inequitable exchange of energy.
Right.
And money is just energy. And what I told her is that clients are paying for their dreams, and their dreams are priceless. And you're helping them achieve their dreams by giving them this information. It's not $50. It's $500 or more.
Right.
Right. And so you're devaluing your worth by charging such a small amount of money. And it's an inequitable exchange of energy. It's kind of like 3,000 years ago, the cow farmer was giving 10 cows to the chicken farmer who gave one chicken back. That's an inequitable exchange. It's the same thing here, except we don't think about it that way. So that's an important point. The second point I wanted to make is when you're talking about like your purpose and my, like, I have this dream to help at least 100,000 people become financially free. I don't get bogged down in the cursed house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if 100,000 people come into my Money Miracles membership, 100,000 people read one of my books and like get the technique and they're like, oh my God, they're done. Or they listen to a speech that I gave online, or they visit me in London next month and I'm speaking and they hear the speech and they're like, oh my God, this is it. I don't care. I'm not like this book, Your Path to Purpose and Prosperity has to be a bestseller and we got to get 1 million people to read it. And that's the way I'm going to, no, because that kind of energy is not serving you. Attaching to any particular way to get your outcome is not serving. You can visualize it and not attach. And that's a really important point that I think people don't understand. Like, get into the details when you're visualizing, but don't say this has to be the way for my outcome.
It could totally change. I mean, you get all the downloads you want. Even Archangel, whatever, told me that, whatever it is, your favorite guy told me I should do this. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, sorry to be the party pooper, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right answer ultimately. You're getting nudges, you're getting insights, but it takes you a certain direction. Then you might be, no, now we totally go this direction. I'll go that way. And I think if we literally had like physical guides and they had faces and whatnot, they'd be like laughing as you're like flailing around thinking you got to figure it out. Or like, yeah, well, let's see if they figure out how this really works, right? So yeah, so but
And I think it's,
yeah,
yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry to interrupt. I think it's important to understand that we're all individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is there was a guy, I went to a personal development course, and there was a guy there standing on stage pitching stock options as the only way to get rich. He said, you don't need much time, you don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich, and options are essentially risk free. And I was sick to my stomach because there were 200 people in the room, and people were tapping me on the shoulder. Joel, does this make sense? Are options really risk free? And 60 people ran to the back of the room to sign up for his course. And I will tell you, there will be some people that out of those 200 that will get rich from stock options. It might be
Mm-hmm.
five or
Mm-hmm.
so, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not 60.
Right.
And we're all individuals, and there are many different ways to become rich. And somebody, it's the same thing with different techniques. I would say really understand how you're feeling and what you're believing, because those two things are critical in any technique. I could teach you stocks, but if you don't believe that stocks are the way, then it's not going to work. And if you're feeling like, your feelings down here and worry all the time, it's not going to work. But if I teach you, maybe I teach somebody real estate and they're like, oh yeah, I believe this. This feels right to me. I love, redeveloping homes. Like this just is fun. I love like the whole idea of like the mansions, and it'll work for them. But somebody else may say, oh my God, I have to spend hours like real estate, like I have to learn this. Like, no, I don't want to like, but they may be saying crypto. Oh, yes, I really believe in this. So everyone's an individual. And what I teach is you tell me what excites you, what lights you up,
Mm-hmm.
what you are interested in, because that I believe is the way that you'll become more prosperous and abundant. I'm not that guy on stage saying stock options, do this.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
somebody came to me in January and said they want to learn about vending machines. They said, we're not sure if we should invest in vending machines or real estate. I said, I'm not going to tell you. We can do the economics of it. We can do all the math, but tell me what your feelings are about each. And
Right.
tell me why vending machines.
Right.
Oh, somebody told us about it. It sounds like it's going to get a good return. I'm like, is it going to excite you 2 years from now to be like restocking vending? Like, is that what you like? I don't want to impose, but figure out what excites you. If that excites you, great, do it.
Yeah.
But don't do it just for the money.
Yeah, it won't work usually.
Yeah.
Usually it won't work anyway then. I mean, for most people. So some people gut it out and they figure it out anyway, and then they end up not wanting to do the business down the road anyway, right? So they might sell it or whatever, and they're miserable for 10 years or whatever it is. But yeah, totally. I mean, I love all that you just shared. I mean, I feel that, the people I see that, at least seem like they're happy and have lots of money and impact, if you have, when they interview them, I always say like, I don't know, I'm just having a good time. I mean, I'm just having fun doing what I'm doing. And it just so happens that then from that, and of course, obviously doing some things smartly along the way, things have worked out really well for them. And so it, I love one of the teachers that I listen to. I haven't hired this company, but I probably will someday because I keep talking about him here and there. But Dan Sullivan was strategic coach. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
Yes.
I
Yes.
love like he's brilliant because I love like because most people are like, well, how are we gonna do this? He's always like, who, not how, right? Like I love that because like honestly, you could do anything if you just have the right people in place to help you to do it. I mean, you could do anything. But most people are so like conditioned or think like they've got to do it. I've got to make this big mission happen. I've got to get in there and get it done. Well, maybe a little bit in the beginning or a lot in the beginning even, but like not for long. And you want to very quickly be thinking. I always tell my clients like oh, I don't know how to post my videos and do that. And hire somebody today. It's worth it. Go on Fiverr, experiment, have them do one task. You didn't have them do another one, then have them do another. They do all three right, then hire them full time for a while and see how it goes. I mean, just level up fast. Don't sit around and say you'll do it down the line. I mean, if you want to eliminate a headache or a bottleneck in your business fast right now, just do it now. Don't wait. I mean, that's one of my big impetuses is just I feel like the place of rapid wealth and growth with joy and fulfillment is to take those rapid steps fearlessly. And if you do get I mean, it's possible you might get a stop sign on something like, oh, it's not time for that. That's fine. But like mostly people procrastinate, and so that's why I
Yes.
say, just do it now. Just get it done with.
I love that book, Who Not How, by
Yeah,
Dan Sullivan.
yes,
Actually, I
yes,
think it was Dr. Benjamin Hardy
yes,
who
yes,
wrote the book, and Dan
yes,
Sullivan delegated it
yes,
to,
yes. There's
and
been multiple books like that.
yeah, yeah.
What 10x is better than 2x?
10x, yeah,
Reading that
yeah.
one now, right now, and yeah,
I love those books. And I think a couple of points, right? It's, creating leverage in your business is what I teach my clients, right? Because if you're just trading time for money, you your limited time is limited unless
yeah,
you could work 50, 60, 70 hours a day. I don't want to do that anymore.
right, right,
Right, I did that. I don't want to do that. But even if you do want to do that, that's limited. That's 50 hours a week, and you could only have a certain number of clients. So create what I did, create a membership and do group coaching and have some individual coaching in there, or hire people who you teach your methods to. And so that, I mean, basically every business is leverage, right?
yeah,
They've created operating leverage by either doing, you know, one thing to a large number of people, or hiring people underneath them and they teach them the method or the process of the technique, and then they are not doing it, they're just managing the people, right? So
right,
that creating leverage is really important. And in the book Who Not How, he talks about, think about what your time is worth,
mm-hmm.
right? Because if you're doing the posting of the video or doing the description of the videos and posting, and somebody could be doing that who charges you $5 an hour, and your time is worth 1,000, then that's an inappropriate use of your time. You could
Right,
be
exactly,
helping somebody become financially free as opposed to posting a video or doing the email. Just and I know in the beginning you don't want to spend the money, but again, if you think about it from your point of view, like your time is worth that amount,
right,
then you're actually getting a negative return on investment by doing these things that you shouldn't be doing.
right. Yeah, I've always felt like you've got to invest in whatever you need, now, regardless, like money is just, again, it's a game. I mean, you're financial, you're not a financial advisor. I remember that whole conversation we've had, but yet you're smart about money, right? I mean, you could be one if you wanted to, but my point is, some of these people say, well, you better start with 5 million in the bank because you got to be terrified, live in terror every day of your life that you might not have enough in retirement. So you need at least 5 to 10 million, before you retire. And so you better be worried about it every day and save every penny you can. And don't spend money stupidly and all this stuff. But honestly, if it's your purpose and you need, and you need to get a business going, you have to go beyond your limits. How many businesses do you know, Joel, that didn't take startup money? Zero. I mean, they all take some startup money, right? And so you have to
I
be willing to put that in. And people, I don't think people appreciate that. A lot of people are getting into the space of like being coaches, healers, and stuff.
I did actually. I haven't stated this on any other podcast, so you're getting a scoop here. But I took startup money for my hedge fund. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a company invest 10% in my hedge fund. They got 10% of the revenues, not the earnings, but the revenues that I
Mm-hmm.
generated every year as a hedge fund manager, because
Mm-hmm.
I needed to get going and
Right,
I wanted a partner, and they invested and they gave me money to manage, and I got other people's money to manage, and they were a partner with me.
right.
So that was critical in me starting my fund.
Yeah, you've got to have it. And I feel like people say, well, I can't use my credit cards. I'm not into credit cards. I'm not into banks. I'm not into this or that. Okay, you're not going to have what you want, like most likely, almost 100%. So, you've got to embrace all these things in order to thrive and succeed at some level. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to bring you into bankruptcy, not whatsoever at first, but I'm just saying, like, actually, sometimes you make it worse. Like, either you stay in security or you just screw around just enough with making some bets, right? I make a few bets. I go a little in the water. I go 20K in the debt, and then we'll figure, oh, that's too much. Oh, let me go back to my day job. No, you take that thing to the absolute edge if that's what it takes, right? You just take it to the absolute edge. I can say it because I've done it. And it will break through as long as you continue to stay committed to your purpose. Like you said, what is your purpose? What's your mission? What's the thing that's really lighting you up, right now? And I feel, you probably all have like one main purpose probably in this life as far as the outer purpose, but it could take many permutations over a lifetime, right? So, what is that thing that's really your thing to do right now? And then just bring your full self into it. And it may not seem like it's working at first. It may be like, because I've experienced that multiple times with different iterations. It's like, oh, but it's not working. I don't see the results yet. In fact, they're getting worse or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. You gotta go through the messiness and then the big breakthrough happens. So I just encourage everybody, guys, it doesn't look one way. Everybody thinks it's supposed to look a certain way too, and it doesn't. It looks whatever way it does for you, but you need to keep moving forward in order to have that prosperity and success. So you have to go through all your false beliefs, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, rule number one in my
Right.
second book, The 9 Money Rules, is when you believe,
Right.
right? Belief is so critical. And I will say, one of my big takeaways that for anyone watching today is hashtag doubt the doubt.
Mm.
Hashtag doubt the doubt. Why do you have faith in your doubt? Have
Mm.
faith in the dream. Faith in the dream, don't have faith in the doubt. So, and I understand it can look, I tell my clients, if the physical reality, you started your business, it's a year in, you thought you'd be making 250,000, you're making 50,000. Physical reality isn't serving you. It's not lighting you up. Stop looking. Stop spending
Mhm.
every day on that, looking at that business account.
Right.
It's not serving you. It's creating worry. It's lowering
Right.
your vibration,
Right.
which creates more of what, law of attraction. If you're worried, you're going to get more and more things to worry about. So stop,
Right.
pretend, have fun, enjoy, and
Mm.
have rule number one, believe. Like, go back to, why am I doing this? Why did I start doing this business? What epiphany, what thing came through that said, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to try this because I truly believe in it. And for me, that's what keeps me going.
Mhm.
That's what keeps me going. Okay, I'm supposed to be helping other people, not I got to stop the people who are on stage telling lies about money to people. The more I can
Right.
get out there and tell them the truth by doing
Mhm.
stuff like this, then
Mhm.
I feel like I'm helping other people, and that's why I'm here.
Right. We gotta, I mean, in a sense, I think you have to kind of strip out the idea of like, I need to make it. I need to figure this out because I gotta succeed. I think you need to take some of that out because I think that's where the heaviness comes in too. You think it's about the personal little you, right? It's about this big beingness that you are that wants to come out full blast and do your thing. And once you let that lead the way, man, everything's possible. Every door starts to open. But that's the process that people need to enter into through your books and through the teachers that are out here. It's very helpful. We all have teachers, we all have guides, and to help us to move through that, constantly working on those beliefs. And once then build what I say, build the momentum, right? The momentum that comes through the new beliefs, the new energy that shifts. And then once you have, because I've lost momentum. I mean, I've had great momentum and then I've lost it. And then when I lost it, the gift of that was I started realizing, man, once you get momentum going, don't take it for granted. Like, oh, we'll keep going. No, you got to keep it. It's like playing with the energy. you got to keep working with the momentum, right? You got to keep working it. And it's fun to work with, but if you just think it's just kind of happening, let me just sit back and it just will all work out, like that's a mistake. I mean, again, I found from my own personal experience, like, oh, I don't know, it's something will work out. I'm smart. You know? No, I mean, you got to, where's the momentum and then build the momentum and then ride the momentum. Don't take it for granted. Don't take your consciousness for granted. Don't take your energy for granted. Keep working it. And so I really super resonate with what you have to share, Joel. I mean, it's the way to be.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, do you want to share with them? I mean, you do have a book that's launching right now, so you want to tell them about your book?
Yeah, so your path to purpose and prosperity. It's co-authored with Jackie Roberge, who is a purpose coach. And we have exercises throughout the book to get into and figure out if you're unclear what your purpose is, or if you already know how to be more on purpose throughout your days, throughout your weeks, throughout your months. And I talk about my stories about how we talked a little bit today about how I came to be doing what I'm doing, how my former purpose was a hedge fund manager, now as a prosperity coach. And then we really get into a lot of the techniques that you can use to generate prosperity in your on in line with your purpose. And then because you're on purpose, what else can you do on the side? Manifestation techniques, visualization we talked about today, to really create those dreams.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. So my guess is, yeah, that based on what you said, the book's going to be filled with practical, knowledge, information, exercises to actually bring you into it rather than just some theoretical book. Theoretically, this is how it all works, and good luck. It's like you're actually going to work through it, is what it sounds like. Is that right?
Yeah. So Jackie is a purpose coach and purpose expert. So we partnered because she wanted to align with a prosperity coach. So I could talk about the prosperity piece. She talks about the purpose piece. We go through the exercises. So like I said, there's a lot of exercises to figure out. Maybe it's your universal purpose, your personal purpose, your professional purpose, whichever or all, you're interested in learning and figuring out, and then really tapping into it, creating your purpose statement, and then creating the prosperity that we all want for you. So I think it's like you said, it's a book that is not theoretical. It's very practical, and you'll come away with techniques and tools you can put into a place right away.
Yeah, outstanding. I can't wait. At the time of this recording, it isn't quite out yet, but I can't wait to learn more about it and getting my hands on it. So everybody, check it out. Just look it up. Your Path to Purpose and Prosperity. Go ahead and look that up by Joel Salomon. Okay, so that's fantastic. Joel, we're to the point of the show to do a little energy scanning or downloads for you. You ready to receive?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, you guys, I'm going to do some tuning in to Joel, sorry, he's a jewel, yeah. Joel, and Joel the Jewel, and we're going to take a look, which that's probably part of my downloads too there. Okay, all right, let's take a look. Yeah, I was just tuning into that. Like, I was like, I wonder if there's a jeweler background in your family or somewhere, something like I don't know, but it's just funny. I mean, it was just a funny thought, but then when I was looking at that dynamic, I was feeling like what it is about wealth and money that truly excites you is it's the love. It's the like the love and the sense of fun and delight in it. Like I see you with the big diamond or something in your hands. You're just like, isn't this cool? It's just cool. It's just cool. It's just the energy of it is cool. And so you're just like, isn't this wonderful? And you enjoy it. And other people just the joy of being prosperous rather than we're gonna get money, we're gonna have big stuff, we're gonna do stuff with that money, and it's just the delight of it, the fun of the process of being in the frequency of that money and enjoying that frequency or whatever, like how you want to look at it, but like it's the fun of it and the delight of it. It's really is big. So that's different than a lot of way different than so many money type of people of all different types out there. So I just want to appreciate that about you, Joel. And let me see what else comes through. Okay. There's this thing that was being shown where, no, I don't know again if you were connected to it or around it. You did mention that one story about the options guy, but I just get this thing about, you know, um this feeling I get of, I don't know how to put it, but like this feeling of like this energy undercurrent in the financial world and stuff, where like, yeah, there's dirty deals and dirty stuff going on, and then, but I feel like although all that might have been going on around you, um maybe one little sliver of you is like, maybe there's something to that, and then another part, but a big part of you just ultimately just was so clear, like, no, it's got to be right, this is all wrong, and so you've always been that man of integrity. You've always seen through it, even if you got, we could all get caught up for a moment, but like ultimately you've always been able to see through it. And then to be that, person of high integrity and it be for everybody's greatest interest, truly, which again, given your background, like some people like, these hedge managers, they're trying to screw everybody. You truly were of integrity, and that's what I'm hearing. And of course you are, of course you are now, but I'm just saying, like, I just see that in your, so you've always been that, and for some reason I wanted to come through to share with you today. So do you want to reflect on that briefly?
Yes, I mean, I do. There is the perception out there of, the hedge fund manager as, you know, just evil, or, the scammer, or like even just this, a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs that I've met over the last 8 years have this limiting belief that you can't be spiritual and rich. If you're a good soul, those rich people, they're not good souls. And yet, me personally, when I was investing professionally and interviewing the richest people, the CEOs of the insurance companies and banks, people who were hundreds of millions, a billion even. I met a billionaire, and I found that they were the most generous and kind and caring. And if I would reach out to them, they would respond. Of course, I'm an investor, so I know that, but still, I found that these people were much more generous with their time and their business than you might expect for somebody who's worth that much and could dismiss anybody in life because they don't need anybody. So yeah, I get that. And yes, I think for me, one of my core values is integrity. And, I truly want people to know the truth about money. I truly want people to know that there's many ways to become rich, and they deserve it. They came here to prosper. Anybody who's watching this, you came here to prosper. You didn't come here to just survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to help them relearn that. You might have been programmed by parents or friends or teachers that wasn't the truth, but that is the truth. When you came here as a baby, you came here to thrive, right? And thrive in all aspects. It's not just money, but like you mentioned earlier, rich is not just in monetary terms. To have a rich life is to be free to love fully and freely, to be passionate, to be joyous, to be happy. All those things are a rich life. And I've met a lot of rich people who are not those things, but they're not really rich. They're not really prosperous. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people. I've met many more of them than me, but definitely I met people who are the classic like jerks and everything that have a lot of money, and I've met people who are just the opposite. just like everybody else, right? Like there's people with money that are nice, and there's people with lots of money that are nice. I mean, it's a mix, right? So just like everything else has been my experience anyway. So
I would say that, look, I haven't met 8 billion people on this planet.
right,
And I will say that, yes, there's a mix, but I believe that a large percentage of the 8 billion are kind, caring, and out to help you,
right. Oh,
generous.
totally agree with that.
And so, yes, there is a mix. Like, don't generalize. And
Right,
people say, oh, Americans are this way.
right,
380 million people are not the same.
right, exactly,
Or men are this way. Okay, 4
right,
billion people are not the same. Right?
right, right,
We all
exactly,
have our own individual characteristics. And so one thing I would also recommend is, like, from the 4 agreements, don't make assumptions. Just
right,
because this person is rich or this person is poor, this person lives here, this, that, or this color of their skin. Don't make assumptions. Get to know the
right,
person. And
right.
then I believe you'll learn that they are kind, caring, and out to serve you and out to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, more times than not. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they may not be in that mode at that time sometimes, but you never know. So I can tell you some horror stories. We won't get into it today. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, people have outsized hearts to want to love and support other people if you just are open enough to receive, and then often people normally, because possibly I just attracted those people because that was my state in connection with that. It's very possible, I totally own that. So, I mean, so the more we're open to like, no, I still think they're amazing people, they're going to do better, right? So, absolutely. That's a good point. So, so Joe, thank you so much. Now I just want to let everybody know, if you want to check me out, you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com. I do have a free meditate and make money meditation, which many people enjoy, and some people, integrate as part of their daily practice as to grow their business, and have been successful doing that. So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com, the free meditate and make money meditation. And also, I would like to invite those of you that are curious, like you see me tuning in to Joel, and there's a lot more I did very quick downloads here, but where I could scan people's chakras and all that stuff. If you want to experience me tuning into you, maybe you're curious about your purpose or your business or where things want to go. I encourage you to check out the next preview call I have for the energy scan training, because I do demos of the energy scanning on that call. It's a free preview call. There'll be one coming up soon whenever you're listening to this. And I'd love to give you an energy scan if you show up live. And you can see how this can transform you. Learning like you are this infinite intelligence and power that knows it's totally psychic, totally intelligent, and already knows everything. And like every single person that doubted me pretty much has been proven wrong once they go ahead and start learning from me. Like, oh wow, I can do this too. Like, yeah, again and again and again. Literally everybody, if they actually just follow through. Some people get a little stuck in the beginning. It's like just follow through, keep following through, and every single person that does are able to do it. So I can't speak highly enough about that, because if you're looking for a fun way to reach out to people, offer energy scans is what I always say, healers. So even many other coaches and whatnot can utilize this. So go to the preview call link below. Come in. The water feels really good, and bring some friends. We need at least 100,000 or more to come in and learn about this. Not about me. It's about what people gain in that container of that training. So check it out. All right. So, Joel, I'd love to give you the last word. So any last words of wisdom?
I just also want to offer to the first 5 people
Yeah.
who sign up a free 30 minutes of prosperity coaching. I'm not doing one-on-one coaching anymore, but if any for the first 5 people, I'll give you whatever you're interested in terms of money mindset, in terms of manifestation techniques, investment questions. 30 minutes free. So that will be available to the first 5 people as well. And I just want to reiterate what I said earlier. If you're in that state of your business where you're not in this, parabolic growth, you're having some doubts, doubt to doubt. Have faith, believe that you're doing this for a reason, and continue, push forward. And I do believe you will succeed.
Absolutely. I love that. Doubt the doubt. I love that one. All right, Joel. A very awesome time with you today. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. All right. And we appreciate you too, our listeners. Keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.